it's your lovely Abbie Dagrin, and welcome back to my channel, lovelies. Today I'll be continuing a series on my channel that deals with natal chart analysis, and today I'll be doing one on SZA. I'll be speaking on her personality traits as well as her characteristic traits based off of her chart. I will also be speaking on how a lot of her placements have led to a lot of her success, so please stay tuned for the rest of my video, lovelies. If you have not yet become a part of the Abbie Dagrin family, then this is your calling to do so. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when I upload videos on the daily. Please also make sure you hit that like button because I know you guys will love this video. And last but not least, please make sure you share this video with everyone you know, whether it's your friends, your family members, your enemies, anyone who's a fan of SZA or really loves his content. Now let's get right into the video, lovelies. SZA was born on November 8th, 1989, so this automatically qualifies her to be a Scorpio. She tends to be someone who is intensely loyal to anyone she's around, and she's someone who is very intuitive, so she knows what others are thinking, how they feel, and that's something that's a superpower for her. She's someone who is very powerful and loves a good challenge in life, so she's the type of person that will make sure she accomplishes a goal, and regardless of how hard it may be to other people, she's going to make sure she accomplishes it. She does have an intense nature, but she's someone who's very much fun, loves to have fun. Sometimes she can be very quiet, and sometimes she can be great at showing herself, but sometimes she can be very emotional, sometimes very quiet, and sometimes her mood can change. So this really describes her. Next up would be her moon in Leo. So this really does describe and explain a lot of her success in a way, because Leo placements tend to like to be in the outward place, so they love to do things openly. She's someone who has a very bold personality, and she's going to make sure that she entertains her loved one, whether they are her family members or her friends. Entertainment is something that she loves to do. She's someone who's very wild and very funny and very charming in a good way, and she just makes life a lot easier for people around her. And she just loves to do things for people and loves to just make people happy. She's someone who's very funny. And if you watch her in interviews, you do see how funny of a person she is. She's also someone who's very optimistic, and she's very creative. She's someone who's very generous and has a lot of energy. She's very proud, and she is very generous. Up next would be her Mercury in Scorpio. So this is an interesting placement for her, because I do see on social media people talking about how she doesn't really tell the truth in regards to certain things, but this does kind of correlate with her Mercury in Scorpio, because she's the type of person who is aware of her fears and her desires and the way that she impacts other people's lives. She is the type of person who will not discuss certain topics, and she's someone who may tell a tale in order for her not to tell what she wants to say. So this does describe her in a way of her not being honest completely, but she's someone who has great investigative skills. She's someone who can have cutting communication, so anybody with this placement, they tend to have it, but she does have a great magnetic voice. She has a great voice. If you listen to her sing wise and talking wise, they're just so beautiful, but she's very smart. Up next would be her Venus in Scorpio. So this is her third placement in Scorpio. So she has a Scorpio stellium. She's someone who loves relationships. She's very sociable, friendly, and affectionate. And with this placement, even though in astrology, people say it's not the best because it is the opposite of Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, so it wouldn't be a great placement. However, people with this placement, they tend to be very passionate in relationships. They tend to be very loving, but they are also the type of people who may take a while to love you, because they just have to have the trust there. If they really trust you, they really love you, and they know that you'll be there for them, or they know you love them too, then they'll be 100% there with you, but they don't like to reveal that they love you first. They want to know that you love them so they can feel comfortable, because they don't want to have their heart on his sleeve. So this really does describe this placement in the best way. Next up would be her Mars in Gemini. So with this placement, she tends to be someone who loves to do different things. So it is a mutable sign, so this placement, their drive changes from time to time. So depending on how they're feeling at the moment, that is what their drive may be. It can be difficult sometimes to be consistent in what you want with this placement, especially Gemini, because Geminis tend to be multitaskers in any type of placement. So she may have a drive for this thing and then the next day another thing. So it can be hard for them to be consistent to get what they want, but they do tend to be very smart. They tend to be very great communicators as to what they want, and they are effective speakers. They do thrive on an exchange of ideas, so that's something that's great for them. They're very versatile and resourceful, so this is something that really helps their drive in a way. Next up would be her Jupiter in Leo. So this is actually a very interesting placement because a lot of people with famous placements tend to have this placement. She's someone who loves to just be funny and just have fun, and her luck comes a lot with her having an abundance. She's someone who loves to keep on the go at all times. She's someone who has a lot of confidence in herself, and she's someone who is the luckiest when she is in the lead and working with others. She loves to be surrounded with her family, her friends, and luck flows more effortlessly when she has these people around her. She's also someone who is very proud in what she does, and she loves to grow and develop new things. She loves to be totally honest in revealing anything that she does, and she tends to be very high-minded and upright about herself, and that's good. Next up would be her Saturn in Capricorn, and this is actually a great placement to have. So they tend to always learn a lot in life. A lot of lessons are taught to them with this placement. They are very much always learning something new, but they are very protected in a way. They tend to be very ambitious people. They're always going to make sure they're working, they're going towards the next goal, and they will always make it at the top of their fields because they are just going to always work. They're always going to have that drive and make sure that they accomplish every goal that they want to accomplish, and they will make sure that they do anything to make sure they accomplish these goals. So this placement, even though for some people it can be difficult, but this placement's actually ruled by Saturn, so it's actually a good place when you're able to learn a lot and do a lot and have a better understanding of life in a way that probably other placements would not be able to. Next up would be her Uranus in Capricorn, and with this placement, she's someone who is all about planning for the future as much as possible, and this makes her an automatic innovator, so she's always thinking about the future. This is very much Capricorn vibes because they're not only thinking about the now, but they love to think about what will happen in 1 year, 2, 3 years, or even a week from now. So that's something that is a great characteristic with any Capricorn placement. They always think about what can be, what will be. So even though they may be struggling with something right now, they're going to make sure that they work to accomplish a goal that maybe in the future it will flourish. They're also the types of people who seek out practical solutions to changing society's attitude towards customs, traditions, and authority structures. They're very logical and orderly, and they will result in things that will reform and change. Up next would be her Neptune in Capricorn. And with this placement, she's someone who tends to focus on ways to increase her power, wealth, and influence. So like the previous placement, she's someone who's going to work hard to accomplish everything in her life, to increase everything in her life. So that's something that is very beautiful for her and very powerful for her. She's also someone who is going to work as hard as she needs to in order to accomplish her goals. She's someone, as well as her entire generation, will idealize work and practicality and the ability to attain reasonable goals. But because she will stress the need to be selfless and giving, she may find it difficult to attain her goals unless she has lowered her expectations on all fronts. So, what she needs to realize and know is that knowing that she can accomplish anything and also having boundaries is important. So, she just has to put herself first. Up next would be her Pluto in Scorpio. So this is a great placement. She was born between 1984 and 1995, which makes her millennial. So they're the types of people who really love intensity, love things that are scary to the typical person, and things that aren't considered popular. So things that probably previous generations didn't want to talk about or deal with, they're going to make sure they go into it and study it and get a better understanding of it. They love making collective issues conscious, and they are the types of people who love collective movements. Isolation and hopelessness can be something that they have to worry about. And they're always looking deeper into any situation to discover what's really going on behind the scenes. This makes sense because it's a Scorpio placement. They love to have their detective works at hand. So that's something that this whole generation really likes to do. Up next would be her North Node in Aquarius. So in order for her to develop her gifts and talents, she will need to develop these attributes. So one would be being objective, seeing the whole picture, desire for friendship, making decisions for the group's best interests, willingness to share unconventional ideas, willingness to champion humanitarian causes, active participation in groups, awareness of equality, relating to others as individuals apart from their specific roles, creating win-win situations, recognizing how other people are special. She is going to be someone who's very unusual, and that's something that she's really mastered in her art, in her music, and in her persona. Learning the way of the inventor, creating and connecting to all different types of friendships, learning to be open with her heart and build fulfilling relationships with those around her, and learning to share her emotions with others. Up next would be her Chiron in Cancer. So with this placement, she tends to have the wound of family. So whether it is in a way that their family or their parents specifically didn't give them the proper care and love that is needed to have the security that's needed, and that's something that cancers need, is security. Even in adulthood, sometimes not having the healing that she needs from her family or her childhood can sometimes be very difficult for her. She's someone who loves to be there for others, but not too much for herself. So part of her healing, she needs to love herself and put herself first, nourish herself, get the healing that she needs, and realize the neglect that she's undergone in her childhood, or the things that happened in her childhood that really were not the best for her. And I know she can do it. Up next would be her ascendant/rising in Capricorn. So with this placement, she's someone who is very ambitious. She's someone who's very disciplined. She is very much humble. She can be detached sometimes because that does come with this placement. She's someone who's very practical, conservative, and serious. She can be someone who is very serious in her nature. So when you look at her or anybody with this placement, when you come across them, they look like very serious people. She's someone who's very timid, shy, and may have been sensitive as a child. She's someone who's very responsible and practical. And this helps her a lot because it can balance a lot of her other placements. She may tend to be always questioning herself, and she is someone who's always focused on her goals. She loves to spend time managing her assets. She's very self-aware, and she needs a partner who will protect her emotionally. Last but not least would be her midheaven in Scorpio, and this explains so much, a lot about her success, because she has the persona of being charmed and has the persona of being ambitious, very impassioned, very intuitive, very intelligent, very internationally mysterious. That's something that comes with the Scorpio midheaven's public image. That's something that comes with them, and they do tend to have a lot of fame with this placement. They are the types of people who know what they want and how to get it, but sometimes can go too far and exhaust themselves. They understand and accept the darker side of life, and they do have an innate desire to find the answers to life's deep and dark mysteries. They are the best when they are in a leadership position because they prefer to be on top and do what they need to do. So this really describes this placement for her a lot and her success. That's all I have for you lovelies today in regards to SZA's natal chart. Please let me know down below how you felt about it. Did you learn more about SZA? Did you get a better understanding as to who she is as a person? Please also make sure down below that you let me know who else you guys want me to do a natal chart analysis on. Thank you guys so much for your support and love. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that notification bell is hit. Please make sure you hit that like button and share this video with everyone you know. And last but not least, please make sure you're following me on all of my social media accounts from Pinterest down to TikTok under Abbie Dagrin, and in regards to Snapchat, Abbie Dagrin 88. Please make sure you're following my podcast as well as supporting my Etsy store and my PayPal. Everything will be linked down below. I love you all. Please stay safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, lovelies.